He'd hit me round the body. I hadn't really got much of a bat on it, and I was struggling. And then all of a sudden, in the fourth over, he bowled me a ball, went past the outside edge, and he came through in his follow-through and said, "Gat man, you hold your bat still and I'll try and hit it." Which is rather embarrassing when you're playing in an international match.
Right, we'll start with you, Gat. Was it always going to be cricket?
I was actually in Watford Reserves around about 16 years old. I did have a trial as a goalkeeper down at Wormwood Scrubs for QPR. But there was a bloke called, I think it was Phil Parks, was the other person going for the place. And seeing I was about 5'4" and he was already 6'4", I didn't get picked. So I went away and started playing the outfield and started to play right back for Watford. And a useless bit of information, I was the last person to play both football and cricket at Northampton CC, because the football pitch was over the back at Northampton County Cricket Club, and we had to go in there for lunch, didn't we, and whatever. And yes, so same year, the winter I played football, and in the summer we played cricket.
Can you remember playing, not with this bloke, because obviously you did, playing against him, county to county, so Middlesex versus Essex? Have you got any stories about how you used to tolerate him as an opposition?
What I will say about Graham, I had some interesting periods in my captaincy and my playing career, and every time I got into trouble, there was one bloke at the other end. It was him, Mr. Gooch.
What created the trouble?
Well, he was certainly at the other end when I was having an argument with the umpire, Mr. Shakoor Rana. He was at the other end.
Oh, what was that?
Well, that was. It goes back. None of the people know. They're all too young. I mean, 87. That was a long way back. One thing people might remember, because one of my table just reminded me, was in 1986. And the reason they might remember it, because I came back looking like a panda. I got hit on the nose, and Gucci was at the other end for that one as well. And he was also at the other end when I got the ball from Shane Warne. So they're the sort of stories I can tell about Graham. So if I tell you the bit about the nose, because a lot of people have asked me that this evening about the nose, and it was in 1986, and David Gower was our captain, and David had not done so well, nor indeed any of our teams had done so well against the wonderful team of the West Indies, and we sort of got out there, and David thought we'd try a different way of doing it and trying to sort of relax and rest and maybe have optional nets now and again. Which was strange for a professional team, but that's what sort of happened. But in this particular occasion, very quickly, when we used to play a 4-day match against Jamaica, the island you were on. You'd then play a 1-day international, and then you'd play a test match. Well, we played the 4-day match, did very, very well, and then we were due to play the 1-day match. And this is when the optional nets took over. And myself and Gucci went down to the ground, and we were having a net. Alan Lamb, David Gower, Ian Botham went on a different sort of net. That sort of net that you have at the front of a catamaran with a bit of that, so they were out having a little bit of a sail. Anyway, we got down to the ground, and they'd actually relayed these pitches, the 2 pitches we were going to play the 1-day international on, and the test match. And we both went out and had a look at it. And what had happened, if anybody's laid the lawn recently, if you water it, then you've got to let it dry, and then you've got to roll it. But you can't roll it too early. Because if you roll it too early, it crunches up. And so we had this sort of wavy sort of feature on the pitch. And because it was so hot out there, it dried very quickly. So when they put the mower over it, it took all the grass off the top, and it was like the Welsh valleys in the middle. And of course, in those days, they didn't have many fast bowlers. You know, Patrick Patterson, Michael Holding, Malcolm Marshall, Joel Garner, Andy Roberts, Colin Croft. I mean, you could name about 16. Now, what we did decide, myself and Gucci, it would be very, very nice if we won the toss just to see how bad this wicket was. Anyway, we didn't. I walked out to the crease at 12 for 3. I'm walking out to the crease to meet Mr. Gooch. And you know, you have a chat when you first, he tells you what's going on. So I got out there and said, "Here, Gat, we're in a bit of trouble here, mate." I said, "Yeah, we're 12 for 3. He said, "No, mate, no, mate." He said, "That bloke, Patterson, he's coming over the top of the sight screens." And he said, "That bloke holding up the other end, he's bowling the speed of light." And he said, "What's more, somebody could get hurt here." And I hadn't even taken guard yet. The best player in the world telling me that somebody's going to get hurt. Now I get to the crease, I make a mark, and you look around, it's a one-day match. They had a short leg, a leg gully, a fine leg, 4 slips, a gully and a point. No mid on, no mid off, no anything. Anyway, we see off Holding and Patterson, 43 for 3. They were probably bowling around 91 miles an hour, 92 miles an hour. They were to be replaced by Malcolm Marshall, who bowled about 90 miles an hour, and the off-spinner Joel Garner. Now, if you ask Gucci, who was the bowler he least liked to face, it was Malcolm Marshall. If you ask me, it would have been the same thing. Unfortunately, I was at Malcolm's end, and I was facing him. And I was facing for 1, not 2, but 3 overs. Couldn't get up the other end, couldn't get away. He'd hit me round the body. I hadn't really got much of a bat on it, and I was struggling. And then all of a sudden, in the 4th over, he bowled me a ball, went past the outside edge, and he came through in his follow-through and said, "Gatman, you hold your bat still and I'll try and hit it." Which is rather embarrassing when you're playing in an international match. Anyway, so I thought, next ball, if it's a bit short next ball, I'm going to try and pull it. And it was. The trouble was, he didn't bowl away swingers like he'd been bowling, he bowled an in-swinger. So it sort of pitched a little bit wide of the off stump, swung in, but it also hit an upslope. And of course, it came very close to my head. We only had side pieces on in those days. And so this ball's coming up, and I'm thinking I'm going to get a glove on it. I don't get a glove on it, it goes straight in. And the first thing I hear is Gucci running down. Gat, don't worry, you're out. Not how are you? I mean, there's blood pouring from his nose. He was so upset that, that I'd been hit. I think he wanted to get me off the pitch as quick as possible. But Desmond Haynes, who was fielding at short leg, giving me some hurry up about this, he took one look and went, physio. So our physios run on. Laurie Brown, Ian Botham was with him. He wasn't playing, he got sunstroke on the catamaran, which is... So anyway, I'm sort of there, and yes, I'm out. I kicked the leg bail off. Beefy's taken me to the first hospital, and that was shut for lunch. So we went down to the next one. A bit the same in the West Indies. Anyway, I go down the next one. I'm sitting in the reception, waiting for some treatment, and this young lad comes up, and he asked me, would I mind signing the autograph book? And I looked at the book and had all these wonderful players from all around the world, and I said, well, you must love your cricket. And he said, yeah, I do love my cricket, man. I love it. So I said, you obviously go down to the ground and get all the autographs from the ground. And he just looked at me funny and went, oh, no, man, they all eventually end up in here. and that seemed to be the fate of a lot of cricketers when you played against the West Indies. There was one other little, when I got back to the airport at Gatwick, off the plane, there was a big press conference. And I was looking like a panda. I had big black eyes all through here. I had 5 stitches in the nose up here, a bit of steri-strip. And the first question I got was, Mike, where did it hit you? And I wasn't quick enough to say Jamaica. So I was just so stunned. And I just went, X marks the spot. And that gets on at Christmas every year, of most stupid comments by press reporters. But there we are, that's it. We had Chris Broad, who's actually an ICC a match manager, and Chris was opening with Gucci on that particular trip, and in the first innings of the first test match, which we lost in 3.5 days, and as I say, the umpire got man of the match, Broady refused to walk. So Chris Broad, Stuart's father, refused to walk in a test match, and Gucci had to usher him off. In there, it was about 20-30 seconds. He refused to go. He said, I'm not going, I didn't hit it, I'm not going. And anyway, finally Gucci got him off. But second innings I was batting with Gucci, and this bloke bowled a ball which Gucci missed by about that far just before lunch, and he had to walk past me, and at one stage I thought he was not going to walk off either, because we were trying to save a test match. Second innings of a match, we had to bat for a day and a half. Anyway, Gucci's missed it by about that much, the bloke's giving him out, and Gucci finally started walking towards me, and I thought, thank goodness for that, I won't have to ask him to go. And all he said as he came closer and closer, he said, here, Gat, the only good thing about that decision is I'm going to get to the lunchroom before you do, and kept on walking. So Yeah, it was a very difficult place to tour. That very difficult place.
What's life? What's work after cricket then? You know, obviously that's quite a while back now. You've been doing bits and bobs. How's life going to pan out from after cricket onwards?
Well, I got involved in a lot of committees. Worked with the Lord's Taverners. Been a supporter of them for 50 years. And just staying involved in cricket, basically. At the moment, we're hosting and on tours, cricket tours and stuff. So really, it's a question of staying in the game, trying to help influence the game at county level and work with other people, trying to get the right sort of, if you like, things happening in world cricket. I was chairman of the MCC World Cricket Committee, and one of the big things we wanted to do was try and get cricket into the Olympics. And in 2028, we're going to have cricket in the Olympics in LA. And then in 32, it's Brisbane, so we should have it there. And I think in 36, it's in India. So we'll have cricket in the Olympics for the first time since, I think, 1902 or something, when it was first sort of started. So just trying to get,
Promote the sport.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.